Hello everybody, I was going to do a bit of work on this emerald lace Japanese maple today, and then I remembered that I actually did some work on it with the plan of including it in another video as one of my little short pieces a while back, and had never included it. So before we do anything more with this one, we'll go back and look at how it was back then. Another quick interruption. This is the Japanese maples emerald lace we looked at earlier in the year, and yeah, they're growing well still. No more sign of the verticulum wilt, which is good. The two that didn't make it, but the ones that were partially affected have been fine. But this one has been growing great guns, as you can see, and I'm just going to be cutting it back as we're getting some long internodes, and I just want it to push out rather than bush up, as it were. So I'm also going to take off this piece of wire because it's cutting in a few places, and this tree's already got quite a number of scars on it, unfortunately. Only a long time before they grow out, but sometimes life happens when you're looking the other direction. I think it was it John Lennon who said that? I think it was. So, you know, this tree's got an interesting kink in it. I'd like it to stand a little bit more upright, so I'm going to use my wire under the rim of the pot trick, which is basically this. Just adjust the camera. This pot has got a bit of a lip just there, so a hook on a reasonably strong piece of wire will sit under there snugly, and you can just wrap that end around into another hook, and that's holding the tree upright rather nicely. Okay, so first thing I want to check is that the tree has rooted really nicely into the pot now and is quite happy to stand up on its own without that piece of wire holding it up in place. Get rid of these weeds. And I want to get rid of these lower branches. This one's in the inside of a curve, so get rid of that. And I'm still uncertain as to which should be the front of this tree, but I think I'm going to lose this back one as well, like so. And then, well, just a haircut really, and hopefully it will keep shooting out new shoots for a bit longer, but we haven't got much of the season left, and we'll be heading into autumn. It's chilly today. In fact, there's a north wind blowing, although the sun is shining. This might seem quite drastic, but we want the ramification in future years. And we're getting some quite coarse growth. You can see the internodes between the leaves are getting quite long in some instances. So we're just putting it back into shape. A shape, probably not the finished shape. I really don't like this jumble here, but and we've got a bit of a jumble up here. We've got crossing branches going in the same, well, two in the same direction, I'm going to lose the thicker one, like so. That makes the tree look a little bit airy, or airier. Lose that piece as well, and up here we got quite a jumble, but I think I will tackle that next spring, before the tree bursts into growth. I shall probably repot this tree, and we will see about choosing a front, and if it's going to be the front, then definitely something has to be done with this piece, but as I say, we'll worry about that a bit more when we repot. Okay, so this is one of the Orange Dream maples that were hit by the verticulum wilt. At least I believe that's what the problem was. It does seem to have recovered. I've been pinching it out regularly, and it's beginning to develop a shape. It's got a long way to go, but we did have some further dieback in this area, but that is beginning to scar now and heal over, so I'm hoping that that's the end of it. But verticulum wilt can lay dormant and come back again, so we will see. But yeah, I'm not really going to do anything with this one, but I just thought I'd include a few of the other Japanese maples that were in that series, and let you see how they've been getting on. I think I'm going to shorten this piece actually. Yeah, that's better. Too long, too straight. So here's the other Orange Dream. It's beginning to show some signs that it knows autumn is coming, and again, it did have a little bit of verticulum wilt, if I remember correctly, this one, and it has suffered a little bit with the wind and the hot weather, but otherwise it's remained healthy and growing well. Filled the pot with roots quite nicely, and I think it's going to be a nice tree one day. Again, it's just had the odd snip here, as shoots sort of go out of bounds, and it's progressing quite well. Give you a quick spin. I'm quite pleased with this one. Okay, so here's little tree Taylor, I believe is the variety, and that's growing really quite nicely. This lower branch that I wired downwards to sort of fill in this area hasn't done anything really, but it hasn't died off either, so maybe next year. I think possibly it was a little bit too shaded out, but the rest of the tree is filling in quite nicely, and again, it's suffered a little bit with the with some of the winds we've had on the edges of some of these leaves, but it's kept its nice variegation for the most part, including the lovely little subtle pinks. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with the progress on this one. I think when I repot, I'm going to move it more into that angle. At the moment it's just a little bit too much over to the left or the right, depending on which I keep as my front. Either way, I think it just needs to be repotted at a slightly different angle, and we'll tackle that in the spring. Okay, so this is the Japanese maple that I have grown from seed, that included in this group, that had the most spectacular vivid red autumn colour last year. So again, I've just been snipping back all the shoot tips as it comes out of bounds, as it were, and then letting it grow, then snipping it back over the summer, and it's made up some growth. The trunk is definitely fatter than it was back in the spring, and it's surprising sometimes how much growth you can get on a tree in 1 year. And this one's going to need, well, I'm not going to repot it, I don't think, but it's going to need some shaping and some further trimming in the springtime, or over winter probably, when it's lost all its leaves. But I'm going to leave it like that to get as many leaves on to turn that delicious red, I hope. And I'll post a picture on Twitter or Instagram when it does, probably, rather than make a video. We'll see. So that's it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching, much appreciated. Please, please, please take care of yourselves. Stay safe.